Murders in the Building, otherwise known as probably the most underappreciated show on television right now. The second season is now fully available for you guys to stream on Hulu, and yes, I'm fully well aware that I'm late to this party and talking about this latest season, but you know what? Better late than never. So this essentially picks up where season 1 left off. The trio themselves, played once again by Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, become suspects in the bloody murder of another building resident. Receiving nominations in the Primetime Emmy Awards and the Golden Globes, a second season was only inevitable. And I gotta tell you guys, season 1 had a really incredible pace to it. It established a really amazing mystery in its own right. The second season only ups the ante because our heroes are at the center of this whole entire conflict, and they've predictably enough been framed for this drastically brutal killing. And Only Murders in the Building does exactly what a good murder mystery should do. Create a compelling mystery. Who exactly is behind all of this? Who is the criminal mastermind, as Steve Martin makes a bevy of jokes about? Despite being a very compelling whodunit, this is also pretty funny, which should come as no surprise considering the team of first name, last name Martin are in the equation here. And yes, I did come up with that name on the spot. But I think our three main actors do absolutely wonderful this season. They get to explore so much more emotional depth that they didn't do the first season. We get to learn a lot more about Mabel's past, and Selena Gomez really is fantastic here. She is someone who is absolutely sick of just hearing about her past and having to talk about her past, but we have to experience it all along with her to heal. Steve Martin also, I think, is the best he's been in years. He had a Primetime Emmy Award for last season, and I feel like he only ups the ante here. His emotional arcs are a thing of beauty. I love the angle that he shares with his young stepdaughter Lucy, and that leads to a lot of incredibly gut-wrenching moments in their own right. Martin Short towards the end of the season has a few sequences like that, but yeah, you can just tell from his tone and his references to a chorus line. This character, Oliver Putnam, is very much meant to be the comedic relief for Steve Martin and Selena Gomez. And he certainly does well in this role. I have a lot of fun watching Martin Short, and I love the fact that this character is so into Broadway theater. But if there's one nitpick I have for this season for right now, I feel like I just needed a little bit more out of him emotionally. Not to say that he doesn't give it, but I was just wanting a little bit more of an emotional tug. I mean, our three main actors are great. All the guest stars that they bring in, Tina Fey, Jane Lynch is in here. Everybody is so good, and it looks like they're having so much fun doing this. It really does feel like the chemistry between our leading trio of actors here, second to none. And I feel like anybody and everybody who's interested in true crime and podcasting and all that jazz, and I'm noticing a lot of content creators, myself included, that seems to be a trend of people who really enjoy Only Murders in the Building. And even if you aren't into any of these subject matters, I think there's gonna be a lot for you to enjoy. The family dynamic with Steve Martin, Martin Short, and their kids. Nathan Lane as well has a deaf son in this. Nathan Lane is awesome in this series. These showrunners just get everything so right. Just down to the tone, the comedy is perfectly timed. The music also in our opening titles, it's just... oh man, I love the cartoon feel of these opening titles as well. Very vibrant, very colorful. It's a stark contrast to the darkness that we're about to watch unfold. Now, I've already mentioned that Oliver Putnam's character could have had a little bit more emotional pull. Season 2, unfortunately, I'm starting to notice a little bit more of a pattern here, especially with this dialogue, because this is really starting to trend into a little bit too specific of dialogue. Especially as you get closer to the finale, these man, I hate saying this, but it really feels like they're not placing enough trust in the audience. Like, the build to get to all of these dramatic reveals and who is behind all this stuff, which, by the way, I should mention, it should be fairly obvious as to who's the criminal mastermind and everything like that. The arc to get to that reveal is incredibly fascinating, but once they actually give you the reveal, It's almost like the writers have to get their hands dirty. It's almost like you could just show us who the person is, and then the showrunners will write a line that says like, oh, it was this person. I'm not saying that that's what actually happens, but that's just kind of an analogy, just to kind of give you a broad example of what the showrunners actually do here. Really creeping into that danger zone of on-the-nose dialogue here. And for the most part, this season is fairly well paced. I enjoyed every single episode besides one, which involves a blackout across the entire city of New York. That one I feel like meandered a little bit too long. It wasn't as well paced as the other episodes surrounding it. And I don't know, I just really don't feel like the plot was advanced as much as I would have liked in that moment. But aside from these little nitpicks, guys, I really do enjoy Only Murders in the Building. I'm gonna go ahead and give season 2 an A. If you haven't started watching this show, I highly recommend that you guys do so right now, especially if you're into true crime or podcasting or content creation in general. I think you're gonna get a big kick out of this, especially since they're renewing it for a 3rd season, which, judging from how this season wrapped up, I'm all for it. So let me know what you guys think of Only Murders in the Building down in the comments section below. Who is your favorite character of the bunch, and why is he named Oliver Putnam? As always, guys, I love discussing all brand new things in television and in movies, so if you guys are new to the channel, do consider smashing that subscribe button and that notification bell right next door. This way you don't miss a second more of the action. And feel free to hit that thumbs up on your way out. This would also be a tremendous help, my friends. Stay tuned for more exciting content hitting this channel very soon. I'm going to try and crank out as much content as I can before I leave for Disneyland next week. But once I get back, we are full throttle into the spooky season. So stay tuned for a bunch of horror movie related videos. We have assembled such a great list, my friends. Thank you all so much for sending in your suggestions for the Halloween special this year. It's going to be a lot of fun to dig into all that stuff with you. But y'all are the best. Thank you all so very much again for your continuous support. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.